Hey, it's Erik, and it's time for the video conversation this week. One interesting thing I got to do this week was host Allie from Chanhassen. She shadowed me actually for an entire day, hopefully inspiring her to seek an opportunity in public service in the future. But we had some good questions this week, and that's what we're going to get to right now. And actually the first came in an email from Kay in Independence, who writes in and says, Congressman Paulsen, as you are probably aware, the cost of sending a child to college these days continues to increase. For many families in Minnesota, we are simply unable to pay the costs out of pocket and then turn to federal financial aid for assistance. The process of applying for federal aid is cumbersome and confusing to the point that some just simply do not fill it out. This is not effective. Please do anything you can to make this process easier. Sincerely, and thank you, Kay. Actually, Kay, those are some great thoughts. What Kay is referring to is what's referred to as the FAFSA form, the free application for federal student aid form. It's what every family and parent has to go through when they apply for college, when they apply for financial aid for a member of their family. It can be very cumbersome. It can be very confusing. And to be honest, it's become outdated and too much confusion as a part of the process. The good news is that the House did pass legislation overwhelmingly to simplify the form, to make it easier to import income data, to direct the Secretary of Education to also make sure that it's applicable and accessible for mobile devices. These are smart, strategic reforms that will make it much easier for families to identify with, connect with, and then get financial aid for students who need that type of help. The second question actually comes also from an email in Frank in Coon Rapids, and Frank writes in saying, Representative Paulsen, I currently have the pleasure of guiding my son through the college decision process, which is a very exciting time for my family. However, I have noticed that it can be difficult at times to easily find information on some of the colleges that my son is applying to. The investment to send a child to college is a big decision, and I think it should be much easier to find this information. Please support any effort in legislation to increase transparency in higher education. Well, thanks for sharing your concerns, Frank. It's another higher education question. Is what you point out, it can be a very exciting time when a family is sending a son, a daughter, or a family member to college, but can also be a time of stress, of anxiety, as you're poring over all these college forms, searching websites, trying to get applicable information on fees, on tuition, on other college information. It is not a transparent process in many, many cases. The good news is also legislation was passed to make this a much more transparent process, so that the Secretary of Education is working with other higher education institutions now to making sure it will be more transparent, requiring more openness, requiring the Secretary, for instance, to create a centralized college dashboard so all this information can be more readily accessible for all families that are going to be seeking financial aid and getting more information on the colleges that the families want to attend or their family members want to attend. I want to thank everyone for sending in your thoughts, your questions, your ideas. Please continue to reach out anytime on Facebook, on Instagram now, on Twitter. You can check out my Instagram and Facebook account. You'll see Allie, who shadowed me this week and highlighted in some of the photos this week. Continue to stay in touch and have a great weekend.